Okay, I'm live. Good morning. Welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio. My name is Roger Charlie here in the prairies where it is cold and -5 somewhere there. So if you are in Zambia or in Texas, maybe this is not the right place to visit, but welcome. So today we have a very interesting discussion. We have done CDF before, but what we are going to bring out today, I think, is not something in a way you've heard it. So we ask that you share the broadcast right now, share with someone. CDF is about to be unloaded in a very, very big way. We are about to unload CDF. So do the sharing, invite people. We have a raffle to give away 500 kwacha to those who entered the draw at the end of the discussion. So there is a lot of good, nice stuff which is going to come out today. And I'm going to be introducing my guests as we start our show. But for now, let me start the show with a song, as always.
So many lives and wildlife too are looking up to you. Zambiani, Zambezi, Zambiani, Zambezi. Silili vasu, Ivana vasu, Zisungile yasu, Zambezi.
Breaking all the silence. Gotta put some things in order, 'cause I know that diamonds try to imitate these walls.
Zambezi, where what a beauty you are. Beautiful wildlife, people and waters. Saleke kutibati onongele ziko. Make we rise and save Zambezi.
See the diesel is burning.
Let's not wait until tomorrow. Let's not wait until there's nothing left of what we used to know. Let's not wait until tomorrow. Time to act is only now. Tomorrow may be late.
Zambezi,
Zambezi Nyatu, that's a powerful song, Nathan, from Wezi and the company. They are talking about saving the Zambezi. When you listen to the song, I think I was thinking, do we really even think about it to take care of this mighty river we have, which is very, very critical to the life of Zambia? I don't know if Miss Sarah we are mindful of that, but that is a powerful song. But welcome once again to.
What do you expect from a Tumbuka girl? Nothing but the best.
There are a lot of them there. Before you make so much noise. You make so much noise. Yeah. So anyway, welcome. So today we have a loaded show. Welcome. I was making an introduction. We have done CDF here, Nathan, but today I think the way we are bringing it, it should make all of us realize what is before us. There is something good. I've invited. I'll call him a good friend of mine. We've just known. I knew he was there, Sarah, in the cooperative. But we never met until last week in our group meeting. So, Mwanza, welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
And hello to everybody.
Hello.
Hello,
Mwanza,
Mr.
welcome.
Mwanza.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm excited to be among you. I've been working from the background.
No more.
When you go to a restaurant, you eat all the good food, but you don't know who's behind it.
Yes,
So
I know.
I've been cooking behind.
Okay.
That's good.
I like that. I like that. So again, like we said, we'll look at the CDF, and it is because of what we were discussing last week in the cooperative, which really hit it so hard to say, this is what I've been looking for. We were talking about investment in real estate in Lusaka. Mr. Mwanza said, with the coming of CDF, Lusaka should not even be, okay, he didn't say like that, but you know, I exaggerate. Lusaka shouldn't be on the table. That's what he said. But today we are going to put even more items on there. And on the bully pulpits today, Kasuluba, we look at Bali, what he said in Congo, is really pushing the value addition to cobalt, value addition to copper. And then I went to dig deeper. Those countries who are manufacturing this, South Korea, Japan, their kind of education. And then Nathan with his schools is putting, the schools is posting in the group. I'm not sure how we are going to get to that kind of sophistication where we can make batteries, but we are going to talk about that. Let's start. Okay, Brother Dawson is joining us from Zambia. You've managed. I saw your message on the phone, but I don't look at it. Yeah, welcome.
Oh, can you hear me, sir?
We can hear you. Welcome.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, I can get you also. Sorry, I had some hiccups in there.
No problem.
Yeah.
So, Mwanza, just give us the big picture of this CDF, Constituency Development Fund. How are you looking at it?
Well, the money is there.
I like that.
It has come. Okay.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, the Minister of Local Government said they've disbursed all the money.
Oh,
so we are not talking about something in the pipeline. We're talking about something that is already out there. So the challenge is actually on the local communities to leverage what has been given to them. You know, it's unlike previous pronouncements where we say we shall do A, B, C, D, and it takes months and months for that to be disbursed. But the 25.7 million has been distributed equitably to all the the districts and constituencies. Okay, so
Wow.
so the
I
money,
didn't know
is
that.
there. So we're talking about something that is already there.
Excellent.
And now the ball is being passed on to the people on the ground to implement the vision of the UPND government. Now we know that the decentralization has always been there since 1964, but it has come in different form, but never in such a way as it has come now, where the decisions will be made at the local level. As a person that has traveled extensively throughout the country to almost 50 of the 72 districts, I
Wow.
know the difficulties that people on the ground face when it comes to development. I'm an ardent advocate of local governance, devolution of power. So what I'm saying is seeing things that I've actually seen on the ground. Now, every such good decision comes with opportunities and challenges. Okay. Now, the biggest challenge is the legal framework. Right now, we have the CDF Act of 2018. Now, it's only maybe a year old, so it means that it's very new. But it lacks mechanisms that will be used to implement this money, because it was never expected that
No.
that money or decisions will be made at a local level. So nobody, you and I, were not even, it came as a shock. It was there in the PF manifesto, MMD, sorry, UPND manifesto, and it was very clear. The president said, look, we are going to devolve power, okay? And decisions will be made at, little did people believe that it will happen, and happen so quickly. You know, barely 92 days in office, the money is on the ground. Okay, so there you are. Now, what are the challenges? I mean, the current ward development committees, okay, their composition leaves much to be desired. Now, somebody will tell you that, no, we don't have people in the rural areas that can administer this. It's all a lie. Where are all our retirees?
I agree with you.
Former teachers, okay, former magistrates, you know, former health personnel, former engineers. They're all out there in Kasama. They're out there in Mongo. They're out there in Chipata, because personally, I've met these people. Some of them have been my clients. So I know that we have enough people out there. But what has been happening is that people have shunned these ward development committees because they believe that, oh, because I'm a medical doctor, it's not for me. No. Now, the approach should be different. Everybody should get involved. So there will be a need perhaps to restructure the ward development committees to make this, to the implementation of this thing viable. That's one step. The other area, I think that needs intervention, is to depoliticize. Okay, to depoliticize the composition of the CDF, because yes, Hakainde is in the driving seat, UPND is in the driving seat, but the Zambians have got very high expectations. This is a new independence, and it has to be an economic independence. So every Zambian should be brought on board, of every color and creed. I think that's the situation we should be in. Imagine how our parents felt in 1964. This is the situation we are in. We are saying, look, let's seize this opportunity. I know people are waiting. No, can government do this? No. It's not about government. It's about you and I. When people were changing, okay, you can't tell me that 2.8 million of the voters were all UPND. No, maybe only 10% of that. So the rest of these guys, the way they came out to vote, should come out and participate in implementing these goals, because that's the only way the country can move. Okay. Now, what are the opportunities? Opportunities are great. So many
Well,
opportunities.
on opportunities, that's where now we are going to
Yeah.
break down nicely and slowly.
There's
Yeah.
so many. There's so many.
Yeah, because there are so many, and what we
Yeah.
want to do, the objective is to give either an investor like you and I, whoever is in diaspora, to see what is out there. The young people, Dawson and Kasuluva here who are in Lusaka, to open their eyes. This is what CDF is bringing to itself, to the table. I was imagining Mwanza, things I'm imagining here. Anyway, Nathan has been with me for so many. I imagine a lot of crazy stuff sometimes. I hope it's not that crazy, but it is okay.
It's all right to dream. Just dream big.
Yes.
Yeah.
So before we bring in everyone else, I'm going to go step by step. Someone is in Chadiza. They have a grocery store, and in that grocery store, Mwanza, there is only soap and salad. CDF is coming. What do you say to them? How will CDF affect them?
In fact, the guy that has a store is in a better position to benefit from there, because they've already shown that they're entrepreneurs. Okay, and those should be the first people to target. Now, how the CDF will be dispersed or used would depend on a community. What do they have in Chadiza? What is it that they can sell? Okay. Now, supposing they want to start mineral processing, are you going to start looking for people to do mineral processing or train people in mineral processing when there's somebody already who has shown that they're entrepreneurs? So, NGOs, as you go out there to source people to advance the CDF, you should be looking at these people, because these people have already shown that they're entrepreneurs and they're working. It's from these people that we are going to see how others can learn. No, James only had the Kantemba there, but now we know that he's the one supplying uniforms to the mining community. Why? Because James now, using his entrepreneurial skill, has invested in a small tailoring machine, and now he's able to go there. Now, James is not stopping his business, so it's just another new stream of income. So what you're saying is that, James, don't stop what you're doing, but open up to new opportunities, because that money is not coming directly to you. The money might go to a particular industry, but it's up to you to see how you can benefit from that industry. Okay. For instance, new teachers will be moving to Lundazi.
Yes.
I mean to Chadiza.
To Chadiza.
Okay. If new teachers are moving to things, what makes teaching unattractive is the facilities. Okay. In Chadiza are not the same as in Chipata or Lusaka. So everybody that graduates from this the teacher training institute, say Chipata Teacher Training Institute, would prefer to be posted to Chipata instead of staying in Chadiza and the city. So if this guy that has a grocery is able to access money and build 2-3 houses, then a teacher is going to come and rent from them, because these teachers don't want to go and stay in grass such houses. You've been to school for 12 plus years, and you want to go and stay in grass such houses. Because when our parents take us to school, they want to see an improvement in us as individuals. So there's an opportunity for the grocery guy. So once he's built on his income, he can now use that money to pump in more money in the shop, and the produce are going to increase. We can come to that later. I think in a nutshell, that's one of the benefits.
To Mwanza's point, is brought in the aspect of teachers moving into places and all those. You see the other point that the president made about they've put a ban on importing desks, right?
Mhm.
Here's another component about teachers moving into places. We've seen pictures of how dilapidated the infrastructure is in all these rural areas.
Mhm.
Give those contracts to small business people in the communities to paint the buildings. When the houses are built, there are a lot of things that needs to be done. It's not just the builder or the construction of the house. You need somebody to paint the house. I'm focusing on the painting business, just that component.
Exactly.
Give somebody to paint the house. Give somebody to paint the classrooms when they are rehabilitated. Give just a painting business without even complicating it. Give somebody the painting business.
Mhm. Mhm.
In fact,
Bavimbe,
you're quite right.
Bavimbe. To what everyone said there, my imagination took me where the money which is in the economy, give a percentage. Sometimes, say right now, the turnover for the local grocery store is only 30%, because there is no money in the district. With the coming of CDF, what are you seeing? What can you visualize as far as turnover, as far as business is concerned?
Thank you. This is I think the CDF is a good thing, and as we talked about last time, where Wakasonso even mentioned, when we look at development, it has to start from the local place. So the local people know their needs. All they need is that empowerment. Now that the money is there, and it's quite a substantial amount. So that is true. What Bamwanza has elaborated is one of those things that can, the desk. One thing that they should also probably enhance is what they call the local content, local thing. So you're
I like
saying, all the money that comes to that constituency should be spent in that constituency, or should never leave that constituency. So what I mean there is, if there is a tender to be taken, it has to be done by someone within that locality. If they don't have the skills, then they can bring in the skills to teach them, not to get that money out, but it should remain there. Therefore, that money being spent around within the constituency also helps grow that GDP within that constituency. It's also interesting. I've just thank you, Mr. Mwanza, for mentioning this CDF Act. Managed to get access to it right now. It is quite good. I mean, I've just browsed through, although there are certain clauses, like, for example, 9.3, where it says a local authority shall disburse funds from the CDF based on projects approved by the minister. So already there becomes a bottleneck in a way. I don't know how that mechanism would really work. And from the act, it seems the local authority seems to have quite a lot of power, but I don't know the capacity of the local authorities in managing the CDF funds. For those local authorities that they've got only a single constituency, that's fine. But if you've got a local authority like Lusaka with so many constituencies, that becomes a problem on that capacity. So I'm just cautious that the money doesn't go to overheads, paying the accountants, paying the whatever. So that's probably my worry on that one. But I'll just read through again to really understand what it is. Probably it needs a little bit of tweaking in a way. So yeah, that's what I can say.
Yeah, Mr. Mr. Bimbe, you're quite right. There'll be need to revisit the current act. Like I indicated in the beginning, that there's some lacuna in the law regarding the current act, and this is what the Minister of Local Government assured the nation, that the government is aggressively looking at what changes they can make, because even right now you'll find that the DC, who's got the reports direct to the president, is not part of the disbursement of those funds. So how will the president ensure that there's accountability, there's transparency, and so on? So there will be needs at some point to see how you can incorporate the office of the DC into it, because he is the representative of the president at that level. Okay, so that's one of the observation. The other thing is that you see, that's why I'm thinking about moving outside the framework of the act. Okay, we should. This is an opportunity not only for the people there, but even for microfinance, because the microfinance should now be going in those areas, because knowing that once the economy improves, they'll be able to recoup their money. Because you see, the money that has been dispersed right now, remember, they are ongoing projects, and that money might not even be enough to complete the ongoing project, because we cannot forestall the ongoing projects in order to do new projects. But we're saying, while they're working on the ongoing projects, where can more money be harnessed, okay, to facilitate for speedy implementation? So government, NGOs, local authorities should be engaging now microfinance. The microfinance should not be in the Chaisa compound. No, they should go out there to Shangombo and go and give money to the guy in the store, so that the guy in the store business can grow. Once that business grows, there'll be a spillover effect to everybody in the community. I think that's one thing we should be looking at. We should be looking at the CDF as just one commodity that is coming, but all the decisions, like they said, will be made out there. You pointed out also that we should improve on capacity. The only way we can improve on capacity is that the government has already said, look, go out there, they're advising, form these cooperatives. Now I'll tell you that there are so many cooperatives that have been formed in the country in the last 57 years, okay? But those cooperatives were politically generated. I mean, they were used as tools to advance political parties, okay? Once a political party disappears, even the cooperative disappears. Now we are saying we want cooperatives that are sustainable, okay? When people form these cooperatives, they should be able to make the desks. Once they make the desks, they can also sell desks to the next district, which does not have the capacity to do the desks. So business should be local, okay? I mean, we heard that even in painting, this guy, if he paints very well in Luingu, okay, he should be able to move to Mporokoso and go and paint there, because word is going to spread. What has been happening in the past is that if I have a project in Chama, I'll go and get boys from Chaisa, get all the boys from Chaisa, because all the carpenters and everybody pack them into my van all the way to Chama. When I get to Chama, the only benefit Chama will think is us buying the village chicken from them. Now, I want to run away from that. There should be people out there in Chipata, which is in close proximity, that can go to Chama. If Chama don't have that capacity, but ultimately we want Chama to be a nerve center. Chama itself should be able to have all the skills that we need. This is where national service come in, because people are saying, where are we going to take our youth? What are we going to do about our youth? No, I mean, we have an institution, okay, which can train those people in skills training. How long does it take to prepare a bricklayer? 3 months. Another 6 months for on-the-job training. So within a year, we'll have enough bricklayers. Right now, we are importing bricklayers from Zimbabwe. Isn't that sad?
Really?
All those mansions we see in Lusaka from stolen money that have been built, they are using imported labor.
I've heard of that,
We don't have bricklayers in Zambia?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know, my hopeless.
My ceiling in my small house in Lusaka was done by a guy from Zimbabwe. Now,
I hear they do a good job.
But the human beings, they were not born with that skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mr. Mwanza, I think what you have elaborated is, again, it just resonates in a way. While you are talking, I'm thinking. So there are certain components that are really outside CDF that could be added to it. One thing that comes to mind is skills provision. So
Yes.
today everyone can learn online and whatever. Wouldn't it be nice sometimes also for our, I don't know, TVT or one of these learning institutions to start creating online courses for our competitors and whatever, and also have some sort of registration kind of system where competences can be validated. Another thing that comes to mind is, wouldn't it be nice also to have some sort of a CDF Center of Excellence whose role would be to gather information to really look at what works, what doesn't work in different localities. What I'm trying to say here is not what the project was all about, no, is how the processes, the transparency works. Have that center, say at University of Zambia, or whichever, that could really come out with those kind of research and numbers. The other thing that you've also mentioned, which is a microcosm of what I learned in my travels, is where when you get these funds for projects, for example, in developed countries, the value chain starts from the actual building of that project until to the finishing of the project, and then the benefits later on. So what I'm trying to say here is, if we look at even the Chinese loans, a lot of these things, you only see the finished building, right? If it's a hospital, rather than employing the local people, materials going into there, whatever, the whole, ecosystem around that. So with the CDF, it would be quite a very nice experiment in a way for me to just understand how those value chains work within that constituency. I think that CDF Center of Excellence would be a good idea, I think.
Yeah. The young people, I'll bring you in. I like that point. Registration and certification they do here. Like Mamaza said, you go and bring a clear. They do probably a bad job. You have nowhere to go. But if a license can be suspended, maybe people will wake up. Mamaza, but back to you. CDF education. Question is, are we going probably to see the standard of education go up? And I say so, as you can see, the young lady in this picture, is that because of CDF in the community is able to have a small job. Now it doesn't only depend on Koroboi, but he can have a small solar power system. Children can spend a little bit more time studying because of CDF, the money which is moving in the economy, what the money will be doing. Do you agree with me?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, here we're going to see a movement, okay?
Yes.
Of people moving from the cities, going to the rural areas, because what we've experienced in 57 years is urban migration. People moving from the rural areas, going to the cities. But what this CDF is going to do, it's going to actually make movement in reverse. And once we reverse that, it means that every aspect of human endeavor will be touched by the CDF. People are underplaying the benefits of this CDF.
Exactly.
As a community,
yes.
as a former community worker myself, I mean, even the little 1.6 million was big money, I mean, I remember us getting CDF to put water in Chazanga, okay?
Where is Chazanga?
Hello? What are you saying?
Where is Chazanga?
In Chazanga, yes, in Chazanga.
Where is that?
Just below Zanimuone, that in Lusaka.
Okay. Okay.
So the government, using aid from the Japanese, built a big water tank. If you're going to Cabo, just at the hill, you will see a big water tank on the right. When that water tank was built, there was no water reaching the people. So what was the purpose of that water tank? So through NGOs, lobbying, community organizations, Lions, and so on, we're able to get piping, okay? And we're able to access that water from the tank. The tank had been idle for something like 10 years. All they needed was 500 meters of water piping to take the water down to the community. Now, we had to access just a bit of CDF to make the other donations that we're collecting to be viable, okay? So they gave us maybe, was it 200 kwacha or something? So we had to show that the community is involved. So now, if the community has been given so much money, can you imagine how that money is go a long way?
Yes.
You see? So those are some of the things. Now, talking about education, since there'll be this movement, okay, it's up to the community, because certain communities may not need schools. Okay, what they need are desks. So it's up to the community to assign some money for desks. Once they assign money for desks, then there'll be desks. Now, if you have desks, okay, Princess Kasune now can come to Maryland and have a thing and say, look, we have done desks, but we want solar power, okay, for the school or for the clinic. Then people will be willing, because they've seen that there's activity. So the CDS is supposed to be seed money, okay, for development. It shouldn't be an answer in itself. It's not the final thing, but it's going to sort of ignite other things that can be done. Because people that, I'll tell you about Rotary. Rotary, they want participation from the local community. They'll say, look, we are going to bring you, we're going to build you a clinic, but we are not going to build a clinic. We want you to build a clinic, then we'll bring you the equipment. Okay? They'll say, okay, if you're going to bring you equipment, we are not going to give you that equipment. We'll donate the equipment. It's up to you to find a shipper. Now, this is where the communities, if we will empower the business community in that local area, or we go to each village, Mwane, give us 10 kwacha. We are going to think. People are going to contribute. The problem that we've had is that the world development committees, some of them have been were infested by criminals. Okay, once the CDS comes, the first thing they want to do is to get allowances for distributing their own money. Okay, so before you know, all the money is gone. So we're talking about mechanisms that need to be put in place to safeguard against the criminal elements. Or a way to choose people that are going to advance the objectives of the CDF. So education definitely is going to benefit, because it means that there are going to be desks in the schools. Once there are desks, because the environment is going to improve depending on what community, people will be attracted to go and teach there. So there'll be more teachers.
Oh, I like that.
Coming. So how are you going to sustain those teachers? Because look, us human beings are not very, very difficult. And that's where the problem has been. Give the guy a shelter. One community, they built a school through some NGO. They couldn't get a teacher. The guy said, no. All I need is a 2-bedroom the house. If you build a 2-bedroom the house, I'm ready to move from Lusaka to this area. And that's all that was required. So people, now, all you need to do is, look, can we use the CDF fund to build a school for the teacher? Once you have a teacher, it means education automatically has improved. But that teacher, once he comes, he'll be earning a salary. That salary will go to the guy who's selling food in the grocery.
Yes.
So there's a ripple effect.
A ripple effect. You said people are underplaying this CDF, and this is why we want to hit it. Let me bring in the young fellas here. See how they are where their imagination is taking. Kasuluva, your take as we, what are you seeing? What is the picture you are forming? And then Dawson.
I like the point Uncle Mwanza has raised or brought in to say people actually underplaying the importance of CDF, which is very true. I want to look at it from a point of, first of all, skills training, as this is very vital when it comes to young people. Back then, when I looked at maybe Zimbabweans or these other guys doing works in Lusaka, in homes in Lusaka, I used to think maybe, they're just very skillful or they're just gifted. But then I'm getting to realize that we actually can do it as well. We just need to be trained. We just need to be empowered. And these are actually the monies that can do that for us. Besides skills, I'm also looking at talent. It's not everyone that actually needs school formal education. Yes, to some degree, you can be educated in order for an individual to have the knowledge. But then there are young people that are really gifted, that are really talented. But then it's difficult for them to move to the next level. I know of one primary school teacher who's so good at badminton. They're very passionate to the extent that they struggle to just raise money in order for them to go. Recently, they were in some country outside in Africa. At some point, they were in Spain. So these are some of the people that can actually put the country on the map through talent, through badminton and things like that. And all these are sectors in which CDF can be very helpful. So identifying even individuals that are talented, empower them and help them. It's going to be way better and beneficial in the long run in our country. Like it was said, the important thing is knowing how this money is not going to be misappropriated.
Yeah. That is the part we are all scared of. There is a project proposals we want to do as regards that. Dawson, let me see. Your mic is Dawson. You're actually a businessman. This CDF is for you actually. Your background for some reason has a lot of noise.
My background?
Yeah, good. Now we are good. Yeah, good.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right.
All right. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. CDF, like we all know, it was introduced in the 1995. And the reason why CDF was introduced, it's the instrument to facilitate the deliverance of public development goods and services directly to local communities. So now, looking at a person who's an entrepreneur like me, I love the point that Kasuluba has raised. There are so many young ones out there who are very skillful. But the problem is it has been a challenge for them to access the CDF fund. Yeah, like for me, I'll give an example. I'm one of the person, a young entrepreneur who's been doing the import business, of which I've been dealing with furniture, of course. Yeah, so in my business, I've come to realize that it's been a challenge for me to actually try to import things from abroad. Yeah, like we depend on China. Most of the things we get them from China. Mostly Zambia, when a Zambian wants to get a vehicle, they always say, "Let me get from China." You get it? So now, my point is there a way that a young person like me can be able to the CDF fund? Because, there comes a time where you have potential, but you can't move from the next stage. So you really need something. You need a fund for you to move to the next stage. You know, it's been a challenge. I've had so many challenges. I've had so many challenges. I've left a lot. Did my business in 20. So I've had a challenge of which the accessing of a CDF fund. I would say, sorry to say this, but from the previous government was a little bit tough. I tried it. It was very difficult. So now I don't know if it will be easy for the new dawn now, like for us to access the CDF fund. Because it's been a challenge for us to move forward. We are stuck at some point. I'm speaking on behalf of young entrepreneurs out there who are doing business and they are stuck at some point, you know.
Those were very, very interesting contribution. Now,
yes,
sir. At some point, okay, I was a young entrepreneur like yourself. I can actually relate to what you are saying. You know, I would have a project, okay, to import things from Botswana back in the day. Okay, now I have a confirmed order, and I walk into a bank and say, "Look, this is a confirmed order." You know, Zambia is a trading nation, and I was doing some trading, and I'm saying, "Look, I have a confirmed order. Can you lend me so much money?" And they can see inflows and outflows. And the bank manager said no. To fast forward, 10 years later, the same bank manager that refused me an advance came asking me if I could open an account at his bank. I said, forget it, my friend. Somebody else gave me the money, and those are the people I'm banking with. So
exactly,
that's one thing you can do. So knock on as many doors as you can. We give up too soon, too quickly. That's one observation. The second observation is, you see, we have young entrepreneurs. The problem is not the skills, because skills are taught in school. Financial education is the biggest problem that we have in Zambia at the moment. Okay? The young guy, I like referring to Chaisa because I worked a lot in Chaisa. The guy in Chaisa who's making coffins, I'll tell him, no, we'll give you money from CDF for you to expand your business. The first thing he's going to do is going to buy a new suit, so that on Sunday at church, they'll see that, no, Nalemela. Now, those are the challenges that the youth have. So we need, in addition to skills training, we need to teach our children financial literacy. If you listen to Thompson Kunda, Mukushi
South.
Is it Mukushi Serenja North?
Mukushi South.
Yeah. Thompson is doing that at that local level. They're getting ready to access all this money, but the people need to know that if I receive 100% of my fee, before I spend anything, 10% I should put aside. Then the remaining 90% is what I should use for the business, to meet expenses, outgoing, and so on. Because once you start business, you'll forever be indebted. But the more you save, the more you grow your reserves, the more you become more dependable to be given money. So financial literacy is one area where we are failing. Empowering skills. How many trade training institutes do we have? Kenneth Kaunda had a trade training institute in every province. It was about the devolution, because they wanted the skills to remain in the thing. But we ran away from that. We didn't support the trade training institute. We're talking about universities. Yes, I'm honored to work with universities, education, But we have abandoned skills training. Ask chair there about Alberta, how the education system works. We borrowed our trade training institute from Canada. It's a Canadian that implemented our trade training institute. If you want to go back into history. And what they do is that they have a bell curve. In the middle of the curve, they have so many technocrats, very few graduates, and very few dunderheads at the end. So that's the kind of education model that we need to implement. So we should be start revisiting our educational policies. MMD turned a few schools into technical training institutes, but they did not give them the capacity. They'll just call it by name, technical training institute. For the last 21 years or so many years, 27 years that they were in power, they never trained any carpenter at a trade training institute. People here in diaspora, they live. The grade 12 qualification is one of the highest qualifications, especially in the US.
They are the ones running
Once somebody gets grade 12, they've arrived.
Yeah.
They've arrived. They can do anything. They can get licensed to paint. They can get licensed to do ventilation. They can do everything.
Yeah.
Education here is for us because we have to substantiate why we are here. But them, my boss is a high school graduate, and he says, "Look, why are you doing all this?" I said, "No, but that's what you want me to do." But the guy is good.
Yeah.
He's mentored me. I mean, if I come back home now, I'll be 10 times better than I was when I left because of this grade 12 guy.
Grade 12 guy.
Now, go to our grade 12 guy, you'll find him Pachikona.
Yeah.
Why? Because we have not structured our education system to look at those people. If the guys are good at dancing, let them dance. Let them perform. Make that business an industry. Okay? Because not everybody is going to be an engineer. Not everybody is going to be. So can you imagine that we don't have mechanics in the compounds now? And the cars now are electronic. Those old mechanics, my contemporaries, they can't fit. But our children, they're able to, right now, they are with us here on the social media. They're following what we are talking about. Why? Because they're tech savvy. Why don't we train those guys to handle the current motor vehicles? Ghana has done it. Uganda has done it. Why are we lagging behind? It's the mindset. We need to start changing the mindset. To answer your question, Dawson, we need to change the mindset. There are very few like you. You are an envy of many people. So the problems that you have are not many. The problems are the ones that have not crossed to reach your level. Okay. Now, we do not need to invest into new training institutions because there are enough already. Kaunda did that. What we need to do is to empower those institutions.
That's true.
And paint them.
Training here is local. If you have a training institute at Lukasha, okay, we are saying 80% of the people to be trained must come from Lukasha. The other 20% can come from everywhere, so that the skills remain in Lukasha. That's the only way you can ensure sustainability. But if Lukasha is training everybody from Lusaka, because there's corruption in the way people get to the trade training institute, once they finish the training, they'll all run away, they'll go to Lusaka.
Back to Lusaka.
Yes. Now we're saying it's local here. When there's a community college, okay, 80% of the people are trained at a local level. So the skills remain in that industry. So there's need to see. It's deliberate segregation. I mean, I cannot do a business of selling chickens as a non-citizen. That is reserved for citizens.
Yeah.
So if we reserve certain businesses for our citizens, it means that people will be able to grow their businesses. And the source of income should not be a problem. Investors are most welcome. No government will tell you that investors are not welcome, but we need to structure, put in place safeguards so that toothpicks are made in Lukasha. And we can export those toothpicks to Congo. That's what the president is saying. Congo is waiting for toothpicks from Zambia. The Mukula tree, cut it up into finer things. Don't send it as a big log and it comes back as furniture because you want to sit on a nice sofa. Sit on the stool for the time being. That's a sacrifice that everybody that wants to improve their lifestyle has to do. Each one of you here have made a sacrifice in life, but there are others that have not. So let's ask a lot of people to come and make a sacrifice. Lastly, to answer your question, family. Look, the role of government is to make policy, and they've made a policy of SME. They've created a
ministry.
A ministry for SME, knowing that every nation that has developed at the low level.
Yes.
The bigger companies, the bigger investors are not interested in coming to Zambia until they are sure that they can get a return on investment. But who do you think is running the industry in Kasama, in Chipata, in Mongo? It's the locals. So make access to funds easy. But we can only make the access to funds easy if we give the ministry a reason why they should find us the money. But that ministry was necessary. It's long overdue.
Yeah.
So that, in my view, would answer your question.
Very helpful.
That's correct. Just to chip on, actually, I mean, that's good because in developed economies, that's the way things work. If you come like where I live here, if you just walk around, drive around, you find every house has got a big van and a BMW park next door. Find what do the guy do? He's a bricklayer. He's a roofer. He does gas repairs, because that's the ones that artisanal skills are very, very important in growing the economy. If you go to Japan, some of those artisans are the ones making even parts for vehicles. Those skills, as Mr. Mwanza said, once those skills are also developed, the larger manufacturing companies, because Zambia at the moment we get finished products, we're not manufacturing. Some of those components could be coming from the same small guys in Chawama, making those parts for the bigger thing. So yeah, our education system is a bit weird because we all want degrees and become managers. We like being managers rather than doing. I think that was the killer. We all want to wear suits rather than getting dirty. So yeah, those skills are really required. And today, I mean, I'm just saying, the mode of delivery for those skills is now better with technology. You can deliver those skills from a central place and give it. But what is also required is certification for those people who are skilled. Can I give them a job and be able to indemnify if there is a problem? Who do I sue? So they need to build all those skills. What Mr. Mwanza has also said on those kind of financial management, insurance, liability, all those kind of things need to be built into this kind of system. Yes, this SME is come at the right time. Not everyone should be going for degrees or whatever. But I would also want to say, during a long time ago, Zambia used to take the idea, even like from here, where you find, say, British Gas, who have apprentices to train people to fix their meters, to fix their boilers, because those are the people that are going to create the small businesses to be able to outsource. The big company will outsource some of the work to them. I hope in Zambia we can also come to that level where the small people, the young people, are actually being called upon as subcontractors into these bigger works. But what is required is also skills. Accreditation is very, very important for that.
Okay.
Again, having those skills, I'll give you an example. What led to here in the UK of Brexit was what, again, Mr. Mwanza explained. We had a time where a lot of Polish builders came into the UK to make paving and whatever, and they undercut the local people. So they would do a very good job because, I mean, a guy comes, he lives in his van, he's got no expenses, the family is there, does the work for 6 months, takes the money back home. So he can't compete with a local who's got a lot of overheads.
Mortgage,
family, whatever. So
Yeah.
that's what happened. And that led
Payment.
to that. When you think about it, Brexit was part of that. So again, having those deliberate policies, it's not going against the whole African free trade area or whatever. There are certain things that has to be maintained for the local. That is important. The other thing also is what they call, I think is part of the UN, whatever, where you can brand a certain product to come from a certain area, and nobody else can use that name. So I'll give you an example. Say, for example, Chikanda comes from Lukasha. Lukasha becomes the home of Chikanda. Anybody who uses that name, Chikanda, has to get permission from that. So that way also you promote those local products within that area.
All right. Thank you.
Do you want me to say something on?
No, just a minute, just a minute. I want Nathan to cruise. I want to cruise here, and Nathan with the CDF. You see this young fella. His dad was making desks in the community. His dad has got a little bit more money. The healthy of the communities. Mwanza used a very critical word here. But CDF is being under, I'll remember it. But the health of our communities will also go up. Kusulova, you saw the other lady with a little bit of vegetables. We are in, that's number one, you young guys who are in Lusaka, let's develop the habits of our friends in Kenya, where they have a little bit of a side hustle, which is called a farm, where they go and farm, grow, because CDF, the teachers will need something to eat. So a lot of food will be needed, in short, because the exposable income is going to go up. The one I like, Mwanza, is the next one. This one, I like it. Maybe I like this one, Mwanza. I don't know if you can see it. CDF sports. I'm thinking because of CDF, Zambia is going to win the World Cup. What is wrong with me?
Yeah. No, you're on point, my brother. You're on point.
Yes. I'm seeing a lot of activity now. Every district can have a small sports academy. Go ahead.
When sports in our rural communities only becomes an issue when it's campaign time. Every candidate buys the ball. We have to depart from that. Sport is an all year round thing. It's a healthy thing.
Yeah.
And I don't mind. It's the devil's paradise. So sport is very, very important. Before I say much on sport, let me talk about what the previous speaker said on patents, intellectual property and so on. If there's Chikanda, and you make it in a certain way, go and patent it. You'll be creating jobs for the lawyers, but you'll be ensuring that nobody is going to make Chikanda without a license from you. So we have laws in place, but we are not using them. We are not creative. Either us individuals are not creative, or the legal fraternity are not creative. You know, they are deposit motivated. If you pay deposit, then we'll do it for you. Or, you know, there are all sorts of reasons. But all I'm saying is that there's enough legal framework to patent things, you know, and to have trademarks and so on. So that once I'm making a particular type of desk, you know, nobody in the world can make that desk without my permission. So you get paid for being innovative. We are not doing that. There are a lot of things that have stolen from us, and they've come to patent them in Europe and in the US. And now we cannot make them in Zambia because yet somebody came to Zambia, saw it, and came and sold it to somebody, and they patented it. So that's what, those are some of the areas where we should be aggressive. So there's so much opportunity which we goes sleeping because we don't take a lot of that into account. On the issue of validation, again, it's lack of knowledge or selling things. We have a National Council for Construction, for instance, National Bureau of Standards. So we have sufficient legal framework to put safety, but we are not leveraging those laws. Some of them might be archaic, they might need revisiting, but we are not doing that. Okay. So if there's a painter, you must insist that the painter should have a certificate when they come to your house. Because we used to have trade certificates. Even today, our trade training institutes, they give a certificate. And every time and again, you have to go back and revalidate because the skills change, technology change. You know, the way they used to paint in 1964, lead-based paints. Now you cannot use the lead-based paints because it's an environmental disaster. So there are new ways of painting. So somebody must be able to go back after 1 year to go and get a new certification. So we have laws in place. Of course, we don't. There's been so much anarchy over the years, okay? And we have to move away from that anarchy. Let's try and do things properly. It won't be easy, but 2.8 million said we don't want anarchy.
No.
Okay.
No more.
And the other maybe so many 11 million or so agreed, but they were not able to go and vote because they didn't think that there was going to be change. Going to change. Now that change has come, even the dormant ones that didn't go to vote will be the first ones to try and leverage the opportunities. So you, the 2.8, go in the front of the queue. Washala, wire. This is where we are now. Why should I, in diaspora, come and leverage the advantages that are there in Shangombo? If you are docile, we are coming. We are coming. Yeah.
Quick one, Roger.
Yes.
I saw you put up a flyer or a banner of CDF Sports. Let's remember that decades ago when we were growing up, some of us were Vimbe. You remember though, when ifo di chavala, te kumansa bamufunisha ifo chavala. I'm not sure that it's Mansa, but I remember that he came from Luapula province. You remember the Zambia secondary school?
Schools, yeah.
Yeah, they used to go and recruit.
Yeah.
And we also need to remember that even the Kalusha warriors came from the Zambia secondary school football, whatever. Okay, it just didn't happen.
You are just making
Francis Kajira was from Mwinilunga. They are footed. He was
Green Buffaloes Mwanza was full of Northwestern province.
Yes.
From the village.
He was forced to wear boots. He couldn't wear boots. He was refusing. He said they can't score without boots.
So Shaka Suluba, probably one of the reasons the national team is struggling is there is no pool where to bring the. You see, here is the thing. We are failing to understand also that, come on, you guys, I'm not trying to start a fight here. You're asking for Kamanga's blood, Do you realize that the team that won the Africa Cup of Nations, those guys were the under 20s?
Exactly.
They didn't just make that team from nowhere. Those guys played together for a period of years until they reached that point. Monaco, Fifia, Arsenal, Manchester United, and whatever. I don't even know what that is. I don't follow.
Yeah.
I know this because Akale, I was also into this thing. I remember, and I do follow what Charles Musonda and I are friends on Facebook. I know these teams have got, what do you call them? Academies where the kids play, right?
Yes, yes.
So
Yes.
to me, what I'm seeing when you this what you've put up here, CDF Sports, Roger, I'm thinking about those youth academies.
Yes.
Where pools of, come on guys, you want Zambia to go to the World Cup, you need to go back to Chama, you need to go back to Chavuma, you need to go back to Minilunga. That's where the players are.
Yeah.
It's not a miracle, it's not even complicated.
Yeah.
Ifo Chavala and those Kajima, the one you mentioned,
Francis Kajia,
they came from the
Yeah. It is true, Amini.
The village.
Yeah, you need the pipeline.
Yes, you do.
And the other thing is, I mean, the situation has changed. If we go back, we used to have PE, inter-schools, inter-provincial. That was on the healthy aspect.
Yes.
But now sport is an industry on its own. It contributes to GDP. So the bigger clubs in Europe and whatever, they've realized their pool here is so diminishing. They are setting up academies in developing countries. Is to get that. So we should, again, probably CDF should revisit that to do the inter-schools and whatever. While you are looking at the health aspect, probably look at it from the financial, aspect as well.
And the point is, when I see CDF, I'm seeing money in the community. At least Bola, who remembers? Kumindolo, Katushefa Maresta Kumfurira, Nathan. That's
the way we used to do.
Yes.
What were we calling it? Wembley. Remember the black and white ball?
Yes.
You could either, there were two types. If you had money, you'd buy a leather one.
A leather one,
yeah. Plastic.
Yes, yes.
I would like to marry 2 points here. I like this one that you have brought up, the CDF sports. Truthfully speaking, there's a gap. There's a gap between the younger people, like the kids we're seeing there, as well as the youths. There's a gap between the younger people, the youths, and those that are grown up. What I'm seeing here, definitely, like you're saying, is the importance of grooming the younger children. The best way being academies. So either having separate academies or develop the sports system in the various schools that the kids are coming from. Now, also, the other point is Mr. Mwanza, as well as is it Dawson, talked about financial literacy being one of the killers in businesses, for example. So I'll start this business, then I'll get money for the CDF money, then I want to buy a new ride because I've been working for so long. But hey, why not also start educating the children the same way like the CDF sports? Also, CDF financial literacy, because one of the killers is that we start talking about financial literacy when we are 20 years old, 21 years old, going up. It's very difficult. Why not now bring in this financial literacy in these 12-year-olds, in these 9-year-olds, 10-year-old kids, so that as they are growing up, as they are being trained in sports, as they are being educated, they are already also financially literate. They are knowing the importance saving, the importance of investing, the importance of running your own business. This is one big problem I have seen in our communities as well as Zambia. We want to talk about financial literacy when you're going to university, and already there's a problem there. So
I like
skill
that.
financial
I like it.
literacy.
Well said, Dawson as well. So our things, I think we've lined them up very nicely. There will be CDF financial, CDF sport, CDF technology, CDF. Again, Vanamanza posted here. CDF is a seed. It's not necessarily. We need also to explore Vanamanza next time how we can make CDF more sustainable. Or tukalapoka, we get this CDF, we go and chew, we wait for next budget allocation. Or we can say, like you said, 10% Yashala, we are going to invest this much money. By the time next CDF is coming, you tell them, hey, Lusaka, we don't need the entire money. Who refuses money? Am I kidding? we don't want the entire money, just give us half, because what you gave us last time has given us so much money. How beautiful, how independent, how free a country are we going to be if we reach a stage where we can say, Lusaka, we are okay. Go ahead, Dawson. What is your take in the CDFs today? Is this the same picture you've been seeing? Oh, sorry. I think I muted your mic because you had. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. There are so many young entrepreneurs out there who need to be educated about financial literacy. Yeah. The mind of a young entrepreneur sometimes is like the playground, that's what we call it. Because what normally happens is you find when you receive money, for example, from a fund, the only thing that you can think of is maybe just to buy whatever. An example that somebody.
Okay, we have a problem with your phone.
Can you hear me now?
Well, we can hear you, but it's giving us a very.
It's like there's a feedback or vibrating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll solve that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. we need to invest in a CDF funds now. Everything.
I like that.
CDF. I've forgotten that word you use. It's being underplayed, you said. CDF is being underplayed. But as we have seen today, this is no joke. In our meeting, Vamanza, we also talked about real estate. Stop talking about just building in Lusaka. The 40,000 teachers are going to need housing. Just 1 minute, Vamanza. Unfortunately, our time has gone. We haven't even done the body pulpit and the raffle. We'll find time to do the raffle even tomorrow, maybe. You'll find a way as you conclude on real estate.
Yes, that's an interesting area. Now, what you need to know is that just like the CDF, real estate has been misconstrued to mean big housing units in Lusaka, commercial properties, and so on, forgetting about the rural areas. Now, I'll give an example of a Mr. Simioti, the late Mr. Simioti of Mongo. When I worked in Mongo over 30 years ago, I was actually impressed by Mr. Simioti because Mr. Simioti had a block of flats in every corner of Mongo. And it ranged from one-bedroom houses to the biggest mansions. So everybody that came to Mongo as a new person became Mr. Smioti's tenant. Now, I know there are so many people doing that. When I went to Petauke, when I worked in Petauke, again about 30 years ago, there is a Mr. Mwale, Kakoni Kalimala. He was a lawyer in Kitwe and decided, no, I must go back home and develop Petauke. What I saw him doing that time shocked me because he created a real estate portfolio. All the nurses, all the police officers, the teachers were all his tenants.
Wow.
And all the NGOs, because then you had the Scandinavians coming in and so on, they were all renting properties, paying him dollars. Now, for instance, if you go to Shangombo today and you are an aid worker, where are you going to stay? Because nobody has decided to invest in Shangombo, because everybody believes that we should invest in Lusaka.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you that the rentals in Lusaka, you might think that there's a housing shortage. No, there's no housing shortage. Because there's enough for housing, but it's of a certain value.
Yeah.
A certain class.
That's true.
So there's so many houses. I mean, I have friends myself whose houses have gone for 2 years without being occupied. When 10 years ago, they were laughing all the way to the bank because they were getting $3,000 for each house. And if he has 5 houses, he has $15,000 a month. And they were sitting pretty. That income is gone. I have friends who have converted their 5, 6 bedroom mansions into semi-detached units because now it's making economic sense. So real estate means that there's always somebody who needs accommodation. If that money, for instance, was taken from Lusaka, taken to a new area that has been opened up, Masaiti, for instance, district, you build 3, 4 houses, 2-bedroomed houses, because the person who's coming as a teacher straight from school only needs 1 bedroom, and the 2nd bedroom in case it's visited by the father who wants to make sure that the son is not suffering in Masaiti. You are going to build that house at 1/3.
Okay, I've run out of time, but you know, from what you have said, I almost want to kill myself because I've got a 20 by 20 plot, 2 of them, 400,000 in Lusaka.
Yeah.
400. How many small houses can I build in Masaiti? How stupid can someone be? As smart as I am, nothing. Okay, Amanza. Okay, thank you, Amanza, for making my day.
Roger, one area that I think is also neglected is student accommodation. That is an area that could spur rather than having all these boarding schools.
But I hope you are not talking about Lusaka.
No. In fact, imagine you have all these schools, so-called boarding schools in rural areas where, you know, you have to have a school complete with accommodation, with whatever. What if the locals build these, you know, dedicated student accommodation? You have boarding schools wherever you want.
Boarding schools, yeah.
Yeah, so that could be also where the government then could be, you know, renting on behalf of the student.
Can we see?
So that could be another area that when you talk about the real estate could happen.
To add on that, Wavimbe, probably CDF now can, I don't know, introduce small jobs where students can work. Like here, you can go to school and have a small job because CDF would decongest Lusaka. There would be need for part-time employees.
Yeah,
I don't
that one, Roger. That one is a difficult one because of our culture.
Yeah,
it's a culture thing. For example, here, if I have a house, my child is old enough, they sleep in one of the rooms, they have to pay rent, they have to contribute, because that's also financial training.
Yeah.
That's the way it works. But our culture doesn't seem to allow that.
No.
You know, your peers will laugh at you. Why are you charging your own child? So there is a cultural thing that
I moved out of my uncle's house when I was 20,
to be looked
26,
at as well. So
26. Anyway,
Roger, big thank you to Vamwanza. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Vamwanza is in DC. I'm in the same committee with his wife.
DC here in the US?
Yes.
Yes.
I was asking him in a parade meeting where he has been all this time. You know, he's a very, very resourceful. And what he has just touched here is just on the surface. But I wouldn't be bringing him because you people, you can steal him away from me. Mr. Mwanza, thank you so much.
The pleasure is mine. I'm more than humbled to have received the invitation.
Yes. I hope all of us have come out with something here we want to invest in. Kosuluba, thank you. Go and make that sports academy is waiting for you. I don't know, the entire country if you want.
Instead of calling for
financial, maybe financial academy. Dawson. You know,
there's actually some ideas already. I'll be sharing with you since we're now one family.
Wonderful. Have a good weekend, everyone. Thank you. We haven't done our Buddy's pulpit and the raffle. We haven't done it. So tomorrow I might post. I hope this link was posted in our new noisy place.
Yes, she did.
Okay, wonderful. Have a good weekend, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you so much. Great weekend.
Let us hold on to River Zambezi, mweo wachalo waba Muzambezi. So many lives and wildlife too are looking up to you. Zambiani Zambezi, Zambiani Zambezi. Silili vasu, Ivana vasu, Zisungile yasu, Zambezi.
Breaking all the silence. Gotta put some things in order, 'cause I know the diamond